Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Morning Leap session for Wednesday, August the 23rd, 2017. My name is Doug McKay. I am the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses for the day. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com or send me a Skype contact request at Doug_McKay. I'll be the one from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. You will need Skype to come into the room because we use the Skype chat rather than the go-to chat. And then you can follow me on Twitter at Quantum Leap Futures. Follow me on YouTube at Quantum Leap Futures. There's probably close to 650 days of these pre-market sessions. Before we get going, I need to just do the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. So yesterday, our main hypothesis was a open auction out of range, a move down towards the half gap fill at 30.75, possibly from there into the naked close and the naked VPOC, finding buyers and then rotating us up and having a rotational day sideways between the 45 and 35 level. Our Hypo 2 was a gap and go day, an open drive or an open test drive, a move up immediately into that 40 area, chop around the 40, 42, and then push up with the main target being the 50% of the significant breakout candle at 46. And we said if we got above the daily average true range, 20 period full session ATR, that we could set up for a trend day and move up to test that key line in the sand above, which was our 5150 level. And basically, Hypo 2 was it all the way. I did not trade it well. I did end up with a positive day, but I immediately tried to short the open. I only got funded, and then I took a 1-point loss on my runner, and then I tried to short again the 40.75. I only got funded on that and scratched my runner. And I just was not able to get an area where we could get get long and stay long. I did take the one long, but I closed it down again too early. I didn't hold on to it, and I did much better on gold. But that's what trading is. I've been going through a couple of rough days where I'm still ending the day positive, but I'm just not executing well. I'm not holding on to my trades, and just not being able to find good entries that I'm comfortable with. If you missed this open drive yesterday, the real entry was here or here, and that was about the only really good entry. Otherwise, you were trying to fight the trend and scalping. I mean, look at the rotations to the downside. The largest rotation to the downside didn't happen until late in the day as people were taking profits into the close. But before that, the largest rotation was 2 3/4 points. And that's a tough day to trade if you don't get in early, trying to find and trying to buy at a high of the day. You just got to basically plug your nose and buy. And I don't trade that way. I want some setup. I want something to lean against. And if you missed these two opportunities here, that was about it. I mean, we never challenged the VWAP the whole day. Anyway, take a look at news today. 9:05, we've got Kaplan from the Fed speaking. 9:45, we've got Flash Manufacturing and Flash Services PMI. 10 o'clock, we've got new home sales. The big one today will be crude inventory at 10:30, all times Eastern. And then tomorrow we've got unemployment claims and existing homes, mortgage delinquencies, and the start of Jackson Hole Symposium. So we'll be getting a bunch of news out of there. I think both Yellen and Draghi are speaking on Friday. Yeah, there's Yellen speaking at noon and Draghi speaking at 3 p.m. And then in the morning, we've got core durable goods. So coming into some news at the end of the week, but somewhat light trading news for us this morning. Each morning I like to take a step back, and what I do is I simply use a simple candlestick chart, and basically I am looking at where we are in the different time frames to see, do we have good slope and separation? All my moving averages are 9 EMA and 20 SMA. This trend line right here is on the daily. I don't know why I've got it extended so far to the right, but it's marking a daily, and I want to leave it on the chart because I want to just point something out. As you can see, we've got the all-time high up at 88.50. Price is paralleling the 9. The trend is very strong. We don't even begin to challenge the trend on the monthly until we get down into the 2370s. So still very strong on the monthly. On the weekly, you can see that we've closed below the trend line. We did have that inside week we've talked about 2 weeks ago that would likely lead to a technical gap close and a move down to the 9 EMA. We've actually closed below the 9 EMA and come and tested the 20 so far and bounced. This was the biggest move of the day of the year on the daily. If you can go to the daily, here's the trend line that I was talking about. This is a long-term trend line that goes back into November on the gap up day from the election, and we came down and we violated this trend line, and now we're trading below it. And in 2 weeks, this 41.50 was the second largest day of the year. This was the largest day of the year, so you can see that we're getting some range expansion to the downside on the daily, and we've broken below the major trend line, and we're below the 9 and the 20. Yesterday they tried to come up and get above the 9 and the 20, and so far in the Globex we've moved down below the 9 and the 20. So we are seeing some weakness in here. Going to the intraday, you can see that we had this trend down the last couple sessions. Then we moved up, created a technical gap, and now we're coming back and testing the 9 EMA. But again, we're below the longer time frame trend line. There's a naked cross right here on the 4-hour down at 24.3275. If we do not get back above the 9 EMA, we don't hold this 42.75, that can be a good target for any hypotheses to the downside today. Going to the 1 hour, you can see that we were starting to trend up in yesterday's Globex and yesterday's RTH, but in the Globex tonight or today, we've rolled over and we've now getting a possible downward trend and seeing some weakness. We're actually putting in some new lows as in just the last little bit. Going to the 30-minute, you can see that downward trend is accelerating. We've got slope and separation to the downside, and we're below the 9 and the 20 on the 30. And then on the 15-minute, again, you can see the acceleration down. There is a naked cross all the way down here still at the 32. So we've got one on a longer intraday time frame on the 4-hour. We've got one on the 15-minute as well. So I'm going to be watching that for any hypotheses, that 32 area. There's a couple other reasons why, and I'll show you when we get to the composite chart. And then just going to the 5-minute, you can see that you're seeing this acceleration down and failure to get back above the 9 EMA, and just we're trending down. So if we take a look at the composite, you can see that we came down back inside of this value area that ran from the gap up day, the breakout day on May the 25th, and we got the breakout on these 2 days right here in July, and then we came up, created balance. We fell out of balance the first time, came down to the 35. We said if we came down back again, we would have to go lower. We did go lower and came all the way down and took a trip through value. And now we rotated back up inside of that value. They came up and accepted the price here at the 24.30. Then we get our gap and go day, and they break out. It's going to be very important to watch this 40 line again, because if we get back inside of this value area from the microcomposite, then we're likely to rotate back down into the 35.75, 35.50 area, if not coming back down. And you see I was talking about that 30 area, the 30 to 32 area. That gets us below the CLVN, or a test of the CLVN. Now I'm going to bring yesterday's day into the profile, see if we get a shift in the microcomposite. VPOC for the 3 days. It should be 3 days, not 4 days. It should be these 3 days right here. And we didn't. So that microcomposite VPOC is that 30. And that's why I was talking about that 30. This area right here is completely inside this distribution zone, what I call undetermined fair value. You've got multiple price acceptance areas, so it's not determined truly, where price acceptance is in this value area. So likely to chop around in here again if we get inside. And again, that is totally encompassed by the microcomposite value area low. We got down as low as the 1575. That is our month low, just above our key line in the sand below, which is down here at 1475. Key line in the sand today is going to shift from, it was the 5150, and with the action into the close yesterday, that's key line in the sand has shifted up into the 54.75. Above that, the immediate target is 57, and then 60 is our next resistance level. Anything above 60s, we're looking for a move back to test the value area low, back at that 65.50. And if we get back into the 65.50, of course, the target is the microcomposite VPOC back at the 69 area and the 69 to 70 area. But right now, we're in this area that hasn't really been auctioned. You can see we moved up through it quickly on the way up, and each time we come down here, we just slice through it. Now we've come back up into it yesterday, and then they started re-auctioning it to the downside, during the Globex overnight. So we could see some choppiness. I'm expecting a rotational day today in this area between the 51 and the 35. So let's talk about that. Let's go to our Globex chart. Look at our overnight action. Overnight inventory is about 90% net short in time and volume. Pretty toothy profile, as they just basically came down through and started auctioning all these areas on the trend day up. We've created a weak low here. In fact, we're putting in another possible low right here at 42 and a quarter. Could see a new low at 42 or below, so we'll just have to keep an eye on that. No clear price acceptance. We did get, we are going to get a shift of the microcomposite down likely, but right now the Globex microcomposite is up here at the the 47.25 area. Couple LVNs to pay attention is the one at 52 and the one at 45.25. You can see that this LVN, okay, coincides with this LVN, and the immediate target, of course, would be the Globex VPOC up at the 47.25, and we just put in a new Globex low down here. So we've got this market moving right now, so we've got to be careful, coming into the RTH to adjust our levels, because we still have news coming out in 5 minutes and 30 minutes of Globex session left. But as it stands right now, our overnight high is at 54.75. Just 3 ticks above yesterday's range, where we closed right at the high. Our overnight low, as it stands right now, is at 41.50, but that can change. This overnight low is going to adjust my daily upside ATR. So 41.50. Our 20-period full session daily ATR, average true range, is running at 1622 right now. So 41.50 plus 1622 brings our, 41.50 plus 1622 brings our daily ATR down to the 57.75. So I'm going to move this 57.50 target and just bring the daily ATR target at 57.75. Now we've already, we are close to the daily downside ATR. The weekly ATR, the 20-period weekly ATR, is running at 34.1675. So off of the high of the week, or high of the week we put in yesterday at 54.75, we've already challenged below the weekly ATR when we went down and put the month low in down here at the 15.75. And our weekly ATR high off of that low is been breached as well. So in other words, we've already traversed the full 20-period average true range on the week. So if we get above or below those weekly and we stay above or below them, we could get some range expansion on the week. If not, I'm looking for more rotation. Areas that we've got to pay attention to, I am going to pay attention to the daily ATR today, because that puts us inside of the microcomposite VPOC value area high at 40, and will put us below into this thin area where I'll be targeting the microcomposite VPOC at 35.75, and those naked crosses and the range low from yesterday down in the 32 and 30. And that 31.75 is going to be another trader. Actually, I'm going to use the 32.75 because I'll either add into a trade or get into a trade towards the half gap fill. We still have left that gap zone alone, and we've got the naked VPOC and the naked close down at 27.50 and 28.50, and then that range low at the 29.50 as well. So range high at the 29.50. So there's a lot down here. So any breakout below the prior day, but the first area that I'll really pay attention to, and possible setting up for a trend day down, is the break below the 38.50, because that puts us below our daily ATR. And then the other levels, we've got a couple LVNs to pay attention to. The value area doesn't mean much today because it was a trend day, so they didn't find value, but I'm going to be watching the 45s, and I'm going to be watching the 48.75 and then of course the break above the value high and the range high to take out the overnight high. So those are the key levels. The key line in the sand also pushes up here too. So the key line in the sand, I'm going to use the overnight high. I know these numbers are getting on top of themselves. That's not the one I wanted. Let me put that to the back for a minute. This becomes our key line in the sand above. And above that, I'm targeting the 5750 just in front of the daily ATR. Then we've got the 60 LVN. And anything above 60, I'm targeting that 6550. It's the value area low from the area that we fell out of the 2 Thursdays. And then, of course, the micro composite up at 69 and the naked VPOC and naked close up here. And our month open, believe it or not, is all the way up here. So as we move along this week, we're getting closer and closer to the month end. We're going to be paying attention to the possibility of being below critical mass and what that can entail. So in terms of hypotheses today, it's going to sound very similar to the last few days, but we're going to flip it over today because we are seeing some weakness. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for an open auction in range, a push up into the 45 to 52 area. And then I'm looking for sellers to step in and basically rotate us, okay, and just chop between the 35 and the 51, and we get an inside day, inside rotational day. That is hypo 1. Hypo 2 is an open auction in range, a push down into the 35 area, possibly even push to the range low from yesterday, possibly a fake breakout, but somewhere between the 30 area and the 35 area, I'm looking for responsive buyers to step in, rotate us back up into the 45 area, chop around here, and then push up into the 52 and basically trade inside. Just depends on which way the moo orders are going to take us in terms of, do we go up first and then start rotating down, or do we go down and start rotating up? Those are my two hypotheses, my main hypothesis being rotational. Hypo 3 is going to be a open auction in range, a immediate push down into the 35 to 33, chop here and then fail and push down through. The main target on hypo 3 is the 27 to 2850 area, chop around here and then push down and make a run towards that month low at 1575 as a failure day. That is hypo 3. And then hypo 4 is an open auction in range, fail to get below the 3850, rotate up into the 52 area, push through, challenge the key line in the sand, and then break above the range high, push up into the 57, 75, 60 area, and chop around in there between the 54 and the 65 and just go sideways above yesterday's range. Those are my 4 main hypotheses for the day. Take a quick look at gold. Again, very important to note on gold that we got the, when we moved down to the 75, we got the composite, the long-term composite VPOC shifted from 63.10 up to 75. We were looking for the basing pattern for a run up into the 1302 area. We got into the 1300s, failed came back down towards this 1290. We said yesterday we were looking for chop around the 1290. That's what we got. So far, that's what we're getting. But we're getting price acceptance higher back in that 94 area. And if we can hold this 94 area and break, again, there's that 96. If we break above the 96, we're looking for another run into the 1298 and 1300. And of course, if we get back into the 1300s, we're looking for the push through the 1306 into the rule of 10 at 1310 and 1230 or 1220 as our major. Key line in the sand doesn't change. This is exactly the same scenario that we had yesterday. Below 87, look for them to push through to the 84. And then if we don't hold 84, I'll move all the way back down into the 79 to 75 area. Again, key area to watch is 96 above, 87 below. Everything else, I'm just expecting sideways chop from there. That's going to complete our pre-market session. I am going to have a open day again today. So anybody that wants to come back, I've got to close the room down for the recording. Once I do that, I'll put the new link out on Twitter and into the QL chat room for the RTH session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.